Okay, so I cannot believe it, but the No Rest for the Wicked devs have put out their first patch already. This is one day after the game released, and this patch looks like an absolute banger. They, I think, have addressed pretty much everything people were complaining about, at least at the beginning. And so let's go through this, and I'll also cover what I think they should change next at the end. So we have balance changes, loot changes, stability updates, and then bug fixes. That's what it's broken down into. I think that for most people, the biggest complaints were durability, running out of food, slash not having enough items to create more food. This could cause like the so-called death spiral. And yes, some people complained about stamina and how hard the combat is as well. So anyways, going into their balance changes, they reduced the durability damage taken on items, which is great to see. Honestly, my biggest complaint weren't even items though. I mean, it wasn't like your weapons and armor. Honestly, I think that the gathering tools shouldn't lose durability so fast, or they maybe shouldn't even have durability at all. It's really frustrating to be gathering and then just not be able to gather and have to go back just because your pickaxe or your axe ran out of durability so quickly. And then they reduced repair costs, which again is also a very good change. From what I heard, repair costs could get really high, like up to 2 silver. I never had repair costs that high, but I'm only wearing 1 pair of pants because I'm trying to stay in the normal category. And if I put on more armor, I would be heavy. So good to reduce repair costs for sure. I haven't had too many issues with repair costs. Later on, you get a lot more money. I think I bought the mainer for 30 silver and I'm back up to 30 silver. So later on in the game, it seems to be less of an issue, but there's definitely a point like after you kill the first boss and before you get like really geared out of your mind, there's a point where the game can get really hard if you're not careful. So then they increased the drop rate on repair powders. That's good. I don't think I have ever had a repair powder drop. I think I might have gone one out of a chest once, but they do seem pretty rare, or they seemed pretty rare. So I'm glad that they increased the drop rate on those. Just so you know, repair powders, you can actually craft them too. And I'm pretty sure there's a recipe so you can craft them. So, and I don't think they're expensive to craft either. So make sure you try to find those recipes. And there also are like small repair powders, large and medium repair powders. And I haven't seen them yet, but I'd assume there's probably large repair powders as well. And if they're not in the game yet, they will be. And generally I find that at least before this update, the repair powders, like crafting them slash buying them was cheaper than actually just buying the repair, depending on how many items you're wearing, obviously. So anyways, they reduced stamina costs. I don't know if this was too much of a complaint. I did see a couple of people complaining, but honestly, it mostly seemed like RPG or ARPG fans, like Diablo people, PoE people who were really complaining about the stamina. I didn't have any issues in stamina, but I also put 5 attribute points into stamina like pretty early on. So that could make a pretty big difference. It may just be that other people don't put points into their stamina and thus they had issues. You know, if you play a lot of Souls, you know to put stuff into stamina and health. So anyways, they reduced the fall damage curve. Another great change from the devs. I thought that the fall damage was way too high. You know, you could fall like a couple feet and take a crazy amount of damage. So good change there. Yeah, I mean, there were times when I was falling and I like actually just died and I just didn't even expect it. And you do fall a lot in this game. It's hard with the isometric view. You can't really tell sometimes if you're pathing correctly. So great change there. So moving on, they reduced the cost of horseshoe crab and food that includes horseshoe crab. Not too bad of a change there. I think that making the food is cheaper. That's good. They had a balance update for the Serum Crucible boss. I'm not quite there yet, so I can't really say anything. And I mean, they don't even say anything on the balance anyways, so I don't know what they changed there. But it is good to see that they're, open to changing stuff this early on. And then they changed the Corpse Smear Blade starting from tier 2 to tier 1. So all in all, the balance changes look great. I hope they don't like nerf everything too bad. I do want this game to still be hard and to be unforgiving. I think it's just like it makes everything way more rewarding if you get past it when it's hard. It's hard to explain. I know like everyone wants everything for free nowadays, but all the games nowadays they're just like dopamine drip feeds. You don't have to work for anything. You don't have to think. You don't have to put any brain power. And I find that games like these are really refreshing because you actually have to use brain power. Think about your build, go out and grind, and it's not just a stat-based game. You actually have to take each like engagement carefully, and it makes it so the game is very refreshing. But some people just aren't used to that type of game, and I hope the devs don't listen to those people too much because the devs have something really, really special on their hands here, and I don't want them to ruin it. So then they had loot changes. They introduced more weapons into Fillmore's pre-sacrament loot table. Honestly, he only had like 4 weapons before Sacrament, so that's a good change. I'll have to see what they added. I'll start a new character or something like that, and we can go through that. They reduced the drop rate of Fallen Embers. I was getting a ton of Fallen Embers, so not a bad change there. I don't know. I haven't really gone to where you use them yet, so I'm not exactly sure what they're used for. I'm almost at the end of the game, but not quite. I'm about 15 hours in. And then stability, they fixed a crash that it could occur when quitting out to the main menu. Honestly, I haven't crashed ever. I have heard about a fair number of people crashing, especially on lower end PCs and stuff, but I haven't had a single crash yet. I have had multiple bugs though where I get stuck in the terrain. So I hope that they get to those eventually. There do seem to be quite a few terrain bugs, at least that I've ran into. But other than that, that's the only issues I've had with stuff like that. Um, and the terrain bugs are relatively easy to fix. Either you can reload like into the same game, or you can just reload to your last whisper point, and that's a pretty way of resetting it. So if you get stuck in the world, just reload to your last whisper point from the realm menu, and you should be just fine. So moving on to their bug fixes, they improved the inventory navigation. So I don't know quite what that means. The inventory navigation was okay, though I did have some issues where like I would hit down and it would go to the side, like the box where you're selecting things would go to the side. So maybe they're talking about that. I don't know. They fixed the jump at the potion seller cave, so you can't miss a jump when executed correctly. I don't think I've ever missed that jump, so I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about, but maybe it's just going to the potion seller cave. But I haven't heard any issues about that. They blocked off an out of bounds area of Nameless Pass, and they removed the lingering dev tools. If you didn't know, there were a couple of like dev tools that people somehow found out. If you like click the left mouse or the left controller stick on the map, it would like instantly teleport you around the map to that place. So that was like a big bug. And well, not really bug. They just forgot to remove it. And there was like a couple other issues, but I can't actually remember what they were now. But it is good to see them taking those out of the game. They have said that they will release co-op like pretty soon. I think they said in like 2 weeks or something like that. So that's really good. I mean, the game's pretty much set up for co-op if you look at it. You got 4 beds in the rookery, stuff like that. You have the community chest. I think that it is set up quite nicely. I hope that they can keep their updates coming out at this speed, because this one was amazing, and I hope they release like actual content pretty soon. And this is just like the beginning of what they have. The game is so much fun. I've been having a ton of fun. And I think their main issue here is they just need more content at this point. But yeah, so anyways, that's the first update. It looks amazing. They did a wonderful job. I think they're doing a really good job of listening to feedback. I do hope that they don't change their game too much. Don't listen to too much feedback, because they have something very special here. And if they make it too easy, then it'll probably lose a lot of its charm. But overall, I think they did a wonderful job. I really, yeah. So I'm having a ton of fun. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. It's No Rest for the Wicked on Steam. But yeah, anyways, later this week I'll have more tutorials and updates coming out and other stuff like that. So if you want to catch those, feel free to subscribe. I really appreciate everyone's support on my last few videos, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, y'all.